Atlanta Cast Network.
Okay.
Keep that one.
I don't see it. Excuse me, guys. We got technical difficulties.
It wasn't before. Okay, there we go. Perhaps now. Nope. That's you.
There's feedback somewhere.
Let me know. Right.
It's the mic. So there's
That's all.
I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Okay, guys.
Turn the
Hold on.
volume down on this.
Can you hear anything?
We've never had this happen.
Is that what that one is?
over a year ago. And the first warehouse sold. So the back portion of it, that's where he moved all his stuff to. Wow. It took him a while.
Because he had a lot of stuff.
So
Picking
why
that
is
up.
it like that?
But yeah, he's moving stuff around.
And I'm still muted.
And he's still trying to get all these stuff. This is a tough job to be doing by yourself.
Well, he's good.
The host and the mic.
John.
That's all right.
Yeah, he got
Oh, wow.
Those are two little boats. How does it work?
I'm not on it, so.
That guy lives like right around the corner. Barry had it built.
They still
He
have
got
it.
like
And it's still going.
$1,000.
But that's pretty.
So it's not this mic. I just unplugged
Other
it.
bills
It's something else.
more, not even as that radical. So like, oh, you can't dig it.
Yeah, this mic is not even, I just unplugged it. It still was reverb.
Here, let's put it in here.
A Nova just went for $750 at Barrett Jackson.
I saw it.
This thing was the most expensive Nova ever.
What the heck would that be, Mr. TV guy? You have people for that.
Yeah, I got it.
You know, it sounds like when you have like
Feedback.
something too close, or something fighting each other.
Yeah,
My
but these
thing
are
is
not
not
on.
Have you tried? Can you just shut down that laptop for a minute and see what happens? All right, so now what?
We don't need it.
Right,
It's just for,
you guys looking at
You
yourself.
guys-
It's that extra
My
device.
belly, I can see my belly in there. So.
That comes with the age, brother.
let me ask if they can hear anything now.
Okay, so it's
Can you
another.
hear it now?
Well, there's 10 people in here looking at us, but
So at least the feedback was the
We'll be
laptop.
back in a moment.
Okay, so Tia, can you see their comments? Let me turn this on so I'll see. Turn the volume up. Okay, so Tia, can you see their comments? Okay, so you guys can hear us. They can hear us fine now. Yes, they can hear us. Okay, so you guys can hear us. They can hear us fine.
Okay.
Okay, they can hear us.
We'll
I
start from the
just
top now.
gotcha. So we're gonna start over.
but it doesn't have the right camera.
Ah,
It's picking up this camera.
because this
So-
camera is logged into this one.
No, we unplugged it.
No, we unplugged the mic.
You can put the mic.
That's an expensive.
No, we did. No, this is the camera. This is the camera.
That was a highly optioned big block.
Oh, so you
Yeah,
gotta switch the
documented.
camera. 1 second, guys. I know you can hear me. Give me
Visual
1 second.
perfect.
We thought we had it right.
That's very well taken care of. Car. It's got a bad scratch on it.
Okay,
There you go.
there we go.
I just got.
Yeah.
yesterday
All right.
We're
So
back,
let me make
folks.
sure we can hear. Can you guys hear me now?
We're back, folks.
Okay, let me turn this volume now. Okay, we're back.
Picking up a 65 triple
Okay,
black
start from the top,
Qwueen
sir.
All right.
Saturday.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the technical difficulties. A lot of it was my fault because I was plugging stuff and didn't know what I was doing. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take the fall on that. Now we're gonna start from the top because I don't want you guys to miss the importance of the people that are here with me. This is Miss Kelly from American Street Machines, where we are now, and this is Sam Mahdavi, the owner of Sam's Garage.
Car show girl, classic car mama. So yes, that is my name.
Classic
Hashtag
Car Mama.
Classic car mama.
All right, sir.
I'm Sam Mahdavi from Mahdavi Motorsports, host of Sam's Garage Television and the Low Car Show on Motor Trend, MAV TV, and Revin. So we're going to be talking about the future of what's coming up this
That's
summer,
right.
aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Now, we went over the good, the bad, and the ugly, but we're going to do it again because of all the technical difficulties that I had some issues with. But I called. I'm going to just say I called it. But anyway, we're going to go straight into the good, the bad, and the ugly. As soon as I hear my theme music,
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
It's okay.
Only on the
Good,
Landon
bad,
Podcast.
the
The good.
ugly.
like as Mister would say, the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, Miss
Okay.
Kelly, this past week, have you attended any events? And if so, what were your good, bad, and the ugly part of the event?
Sure. So I can say, I think it was last weekend, but we had the Caffeine and Octane, everybody knows Caffeine and Octane, right? A Lanier Speedway, Nopi event. The good was I had never seen drifting before like that. So I was there with Sam and his family and the Nopi car peeps. It was amazing. Even though the bad that it was raining like cats and dogs most of the time. That event was amazing. The skill, the tech of doing those drifting and stuff. I had never seen that before. 2 cars together, so on. Go on our Facebook page. I do have video of that. But that was definitely good. The bad was the rain, and the ugly was some of those cars scared me a little bit.
Now,
Now,
are you
not the
talking the
They
drift
weren't,
cars
they weren't
or
on the
some
track.
of
No, because they had to. I'm sure the techs were putting on
Okay.
the track. But some of those cars that rolled up for the event, I was like, oh my god, like metal here and there. There was some ugly but they paid the registration fee, right? That's they supported the cause, and that's all that matters. Sometimes you don't care, but there was some crazy stuff out there at that Nopi event. A different car scene when I'm used to the classic cars. It's a different
Absolutely.
car
Yes,
scene.
yes. And
Wow.
so that's also the event that I had been to, the last one, which is the Nopi event. So the good of that is the fact that it was the first inaugural comeback regional event for Nopi. And the bad was that it was raining. Okay.
Yep.
But also the good, let me add more to the good. True gearheads came out that day.
Right. Exactly.
They came in the rain, in the
Yes.
cold, and
Yes.
bought tickets and went to the show and came and patronized us,
Yes.
came to the race. So those are true
That was
gearheads.
impressive.
Right.
That
It
was
was
very
pretty cool.
impressive. That was very impressive.
And then,
It was
and then
cold as
the
crap.
aura of Nopi, though. The aura. I've been with Nopi for years, way
Right.
back when it was about the Euro cars and the Beatles and everything else. When Sam was, a participant / vendor back then, when he was bringing all the big stuff in. So the fact that you bought it with your name and your status made people say, "Let's go see what he's doing."
Yes.
So I think that the inaugural one was, "Hey, this is where we are. We're still going to have the big show at."
Atlanta Motor Speedway
There we go.
in
So
September.
there we go. We're going to go into that in a little bit. And as you can see, as you just heard, this is Sam Mahdavi. He is the owner, the proud new owner of the Nopi franchise and everything included with it. So having been a former employee of Nopi, I'm going to say former because I didn't work this last show because I'm
Okay.
quite sure he's going to bring me back. I'm scared. But,
It was cold and rainy.
but what give me your vision of where you want to take Nopi now compared to what it was, because I know when people hear it now, nobody think, oh man, it's gonna be like it was. It'll never be like it was because the scene was completely different. So with what you know about the scene now, what's your vision for Nopi?
It will never be like it was because we didn't have social media back then.
Exactly.
Everything was tangible. We did everything that we can touch and see and feel. That's what made it so special.
Gotcha.
And so what I'd like to do is bring it back. And a lot of the youth today, Nopi was about grassroots.
Right.
And so when you talk about grassroots, you're talking about the kids 15, 16 years old, getting jobs, don't have a lot of money, but they have the money to go and customize their cars, lower it, put some springs on it, put some wheels on it, put some tint on it.
Mhm.
And so I think we've gotten away from that grassroots a little bit. It's gotten expensive. We were just talking about a Nova at Barrett Jackson going for $750,000. It's the most expensive Nova going across the lot. You know what I mean? So things have changed. What I want to do is the vision for Nopi is bring back like it used to be, bring back that nostalgia that was Nopi, but with a mature flair to it, right? So the Nopi chic it's going to be now working with women in motorsports. My wife Julie is heading that, and we're going to completely change what Nopi chic used to be. And we all know what it used to be, right?
Exactly.
And so, and there's a lot of women in motorsports today that need to be recognized that are not getting recognized. And there are wrenchers or drifters, drag racers. They've been around in the motorsports for decades.
Okay.
And so we want to make Nopi Chic a place where they can go and have a platform that they can get noticed. You can go to Nopi Chick website and see the women in motorsports and see who they are. And so that's the Nopi Chick side of it. On the Nopi side, I'd like to bring back the same, but more mature, so that the kids can experience the nostalgia that was.
Yeah.
And us Gen Xers who were in there
Mhm.
can experience what we had today, right? These cars have stories, and people want to own the car that was their childhood story, and that's what is a connection, right?
Correct.
Well, we have an opportunity with Nopi Nationals to live a moment that was our era, not just own a car, but actually go to the show and live it. So I don't want to change it too much, but I want to add the mature flair to it. But I also want the elements there to grab the youth, where if you notice, we all notice that the kids, and right now between 18 to 25, 6 may not care about cars or
Right.
licenses or anything like that.
Right.
And so we need to change that mindset. We need to make it more affordable. We need to get the kids back into motorsports early on. And so they got something. I mean, who's more cooler than car people?
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
And
Car-
chicks.
That's why you guys tune in.
And car chicks.
Car people includes chicks, ma'am.
I think it's a whole other
Okay.
situation. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay,
Go car chicks.
that is a very that was a good explanation of what your vision is.
Mhm.
But can you give me one or two steps how you plan to implement it versus saying that's what you want? Because we all know when we set our vision board, so to speak, we say we got to do this. It's like a ladder effect. So how do you plan to reach out to them outside of social media and say, hey, y'all got to come because this is what we used to do versus what we're going to do. And we're going to show you guys all the stuff you just mentioned.
Soldiers across this country. It's all about the networks and relationships.
Mhm.
Okay.
We got on the East Coast, we got Speedology rooting for us, working with my wife with Nopi Chick and Nopi, along with the Nopi Tour, because it will be an official tour coming from Jersey down through Carolina. They're going to stop in Mooresville,
Nice.
and they're going to come into Landmore Speedway, just like the Super Street Tour used to be
Gotcha.
back in the day.
Mhm.
I got a guy named Graham Cardoza from Toronto, Canada. He's actually started the whole Nopi Tour thing, and he's doing the leg from Toronto down over
Oh.
Kentucky, Detroit, and go down to the south, to Georgia.
That's what's up.
So, getting the right people, and I've huge network, being that it's 26 years I've been in this community doing this,
Mhm.
right? So I'm calling everyone I know across this country, and not only social media, but all the track owners that we used to go to, all those guys that are our age that you worked,
Mhm.
they're all calling,
Good.
all the racers.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's, you got to get
Especially
to
the
community.
drifter guys, because they were worried, back when it was the original owners, with the drift competition was one of the staples because they paid so much.
They
And
started it.
Right. So I don't want you, I'm not trying to put you on the spot and saying, are you going to pay them? But the incentive for them to come will be what?
A purse.
Oh,
Like we
first.
just did at the last show,
Yeah.
the regionals,
Yeah.
they got a $5,000 purse amongst the 3 winners. The
Oh,
first
okay.
place winner got 3,500, then 1,000, then 500.
Gotcha.
So that's what it's about. And also, Nopi Drift started in the early 2000s, and
Yes.
drifting started with Nopi, and so those guys have a place to come back. Vaughn Gittin Jr. can come back and drift with Nopi. From what I'm hearing, there's no competition for Formula Drift really,
Mhm.
and so we want to give something that the racer can come and have a grassroots deal to where there's a smaller tire, less horsepower for
Mhm.
those kids who are trying to get up into the pro level.
Into the pro level.
right? From what I'm hearing, it requires a certain size tire. You have to have a certain horsepower to turn that tire,
Exactly.
and so you have rules and classes.
I was gonna say classes,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
novice, expert.
exactly.
You had the same thing
In
as like
September, we're
race.
going to have that.
Okay.
And in this one, we didn't. We just kept it professional.
Yeah.
But in September, because it's a 2-day deal, we got
Yeah.
all day. We're going to do that. We're going to have
Novice
different classes for the
Nice.
novice as well.
Nice.
And the drag racers as well. They're going to get big purses and stuff
So
like
we're gonna
that. So
we're gonna bring
Well, for
drag
sure.
racing back
the
also.
first race is in Maryland. MIR was the best venue that we had in the series back in the day.
Right.
It was my last race.
So
in
you didn't come to
2008.
the Commerce one, because Commerce,
Oh, yeah.
the Dragway was a super show.
For sure. We went there. I was
okay,
there.
gotcha.
Remember, we got rained out. It was a lake there. Remember that?
Yeah. It was like 4
It
feet
was
of water.
crazy,
Yeah, I
dude. We
remember.
were all in trailers like this.
But
I
okay.
remember we were in my trailer. It was crazy.
So for all you guys that don't know, Nopi used to have drag racing, real NHRA drag cars out there where they had a purse for that. Then they had a purse for drifting. And then I think Best in Show, and not that we're putting all that on the shows to bring all of that back right now, because the show needs to grow, of course. But we want to make you guys understand that the incentive was bring your car, all of that money you put into it, this is the place to show it at because you can actually win money for it, and people could more than likely try to buy it from you if it's up for sale. So that was the old Nopi. So let's come into the new age of what Nopi is trying to achieve outside of giving them the nostalgia back.
Yep. So we're going to bring you back. The Nopi drag racing was for the import guys who had nowhere to drive. NHRA didn't have a class for them. NHRA put a class for them after Nopi came out and said, look what we're doing. Then NHRA came and had an import class for them. And then the guys who were racing the Nopi, the import cars, NHRA only had a rule for the pro mods, the fast guys, none of the slow guys, none of the 10-second guys, none of those guys had anywhere to race. So it was a home for them to race. And that's where we're going to bring another home back for these guys to be able to race.
Perfect.
Same
I
thing
have a
with the
question.
Go.
I have a question.
Mhm.
For you. Would you say, and I've noticed since going from the old Caffeine Octane location to this new Caffeine Octane location and the times, that there is definitely more teenage, young guys out there with those kind of cars, with those, the Infinities, the Lexus, the imports, the Hondas, and all those things. Would you say Caffeine Octane is a good partner for you? I would say, in my opinion, I would say definitely yes. But what is your opinion on that relationship, the Caffeine Octane that we see now, and going to Lanier for events and stuff like that?
It was a good event that we had. It was nice being at that track because a lot of the drifters are really used to that track because Caffeine and Octane has the drifting every weekend.
Okay.
It's like Commerce used to have test and tune for the drag racers every weekend. The drifters now have somewhere to go, those Infinities and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's cool partnering up with them because they do bring in that genre of kids that we need. It's about a community, right? It's about back in the day, it used to be the classic guys didn't want to hang out with the Nopi guys because you know what I mean? Not anymore. Those guys have grown up now. And I have a huge following when it comes to the domestic side because of the low car show and because of Sam's Garage. We've been doing LS swaps forever, right?
Right.
So I'm able to talk to those guys, say, look, we need to fix this problem we have where it's lacking. You guys don't want to mingle with anymore. But
Connection.
we need to school these kids. You guys are passing away, unfortunately, and there's a lot of knowledge in your heads.
Exactly.
And you
can
can
pass it on.
mentor these people. Let's school these kids and get them excited. Because the one thing about COVID is COVID created a lot of car shows.
Yeah.
It did.
A lot
Outdoor
of car
events,
shows.
they can-
Yep. And there's a lot of
Okay.
people that became car enthusiasts just because they had nothing to do, but the car show was open. They went to the car show. They were
Yeah.
not a gearhead before, but they left
Mhm.
gearheads and buying cars and going to the next event next year as a participant.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
First Sunday of the month, they're going out there and they're doing it. We had a conversation last night at the dinner table with our 18-year-old. Like, man, what about BMWs and what about? He's excited. He was definitely excited about that. So that's a cool thing. That's a great idea.
we have an unfinished class for those that are not finished. Remember back in the day, there was a
The-
class
we
for
used to
every
call it.
car.
We used to call it.
The nuts and bolts class,
no,
like I was talking about.
I can't think of what we used to call it now, but it'll hit me. But one of my viewers has a question. Sam, what's your vision to compete or offer another route for younger adults and teenagers?
We have to get in there early. Like for instance, right now we just gave the Bartow County Career and Academy Center a Porsche 911 through the Mike and the VP of the Porsche Club of America.
Yeah.
And so they gave these
Mike
kids
D.
this car. Yeah,
Yes.
I can't say his last name.
Yeah.
He gave this car to these kids. These kids
I
have
didn't.
created an old project group with 16 kids in it.
Okay.
And every Friday they take that whole day and these kids are going to tear into this car and renovate it and make it theirs. And they're going to be able to drive it on the Porsche Experience track.
Okay.
And it's a manual. So they're going to learn how to drive this.
Now,
That's
that's different.
awesome.
Because
That's
a lot of
awesome.
kids don't understand what manual
No.
is.
So
Or
we need
can't
to get
read
them-
cursive.
And so we're
Can't
also-
write in cursive. They don't teach it in school anymore.
We're also going to be opening up a shop with Victory Motorsports. They're opening up a brand new facility off of 81 in Jersey Road in Loganville. It's a 9,000 square foot facility.
Love
We're
it.
going to outfit it with all the tools. It's across the street from the middle school. And so we're going to get kids over and teach them stuff on cars, basic
good
stuff, you know,
That's the way to start. And the
changing
schools-
tires,
Yeah.
checking your oil.
Yes.
Guys aren't doing
I
that
did.
stuff.
So
And that's
I
why
did
there's so
boot
many more
camps.
women in motors. Yeah.
People used to, I don't know if you remember, but at the other shop I had, the performance shop, repair shop, I did boot camps for teens and women. Paid $20, and we had about 5 teenager or parents came. This is your check engine light. This is what this is. They didn't know. They didn't know. And we've had so many oil change, like their engine blew. You know, because they didn't know, oh, one oil change. The parents didn't teach them. Come on, parents. You have to have oil changes at least.
You know,
They
some
don't have
people
to
think
fix
if
it.
it cranks up, it works.
They
Just
don't
go.
have to be the expert. They need to know, you know, the chicken light flashing, these kind of things. So I did boot camp for $20 per person. That's how I got to be Clark Howard's women's referral facility for 10 years because just educating people, right? Just folks do oil changes. Anyway,
Right.
I did that too.
You also got to
start young.
educate them on what the idiot lights are on the dash. If you
Yeah,
see a
what do you-
red
it's
oil can light, you better pull
That's
over.
exactly
if you
what
see a
it's
red
about.
battery light, it's not your battery, it's your alternator.
Every car was
You
different,
know?
so I had a mechanic in every car to sit with that child and go with that with them. So
But,
yeah,
you know, and when you say idiot lights, a lot of people assume the light means warning something is about to happen versus warning something is happening. And that is what, like you were saying, in boot
flashing
camps.
versus not.
Well, see, some cars, the new cars, they don't flash. They
Mhm.
just come on and stay on.
Mhm.
So I tell my wife, when you see it, call me and tell me what it is. And I'll say, okay, park, I'll come get you, or turn around and come home.
If the car's acting different,
Right.
when you pull over.
A lot of times it won't. Like if it's a fuel filter or
Mhm.
something, it'll sputter. And that'll tell you, hey, something's
Tighten your
about to
gas
happen.
cap. Yeah.
But with those types of things, I know you don't have the facility yet to offer that, but is this what the facility you're going to build is going to be teaching some of those things?
Yep. to the
Will it
kids.
include adults also?
Well,
Because the middle
that's a
school
good
kids, of
question.
course, they're not driving.
Right, but that's the thing. We got to get them back into being young boys early on because I think when they get into high school, there's so many influences around them that they kind of get lost. If we can get them in middle school, they're like little sponges, and we need to mentor these kids as adults and sometimes say the words that they don't want to hear, like work ethics. What time you have to get up to go to work. High school starts at 7:15 for a reason. It's prepping you for the real world, which is 8 o'clock. In some cases, 7:30.
Right.
You have to get there 15 minutes early. You have to do your bathroom break before you get there. Things like that need to be said to these kids. They're not being told.
No.
Right. And that's the terrible thing about the way I don't want to call them Generation Xers, but the way children are being raised now is like it's okay.
Mhm.
And a lot being late is not okay.
It's not okay.
You know,
Look at the
saying sorry all the time doesn't work. So those are the things that, and I think that's more of morality when it comes to parents, how you raise your kids, because some of them don't know how to raise children.
I know.
So that's a whole nother subject.
That's a
But
whole other
anyway,
segment.
yeah.
There's
Car
shops
repair.
changing their hours to 10 to 7
Yeah.
because no one's coming in
No.
before 10 and
Exactly.
they're staying
Lord
later
have
because
mercy,
they're
child.
working later. But
Telling
the
you.
person who drops off their vehicle to get work on is going to work
Yeah.
between 6 and 30. So they're going to drop off the car outside. They're going to leave the key in the thing, and you can start there at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you can't. 10 o'clock screws everything up.
Yes.
They don't drop off their cars. They're not going to wait. They can't get a ride. It just messes everything up, and you lose money as a shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wake up, folks.
You
So-
can't do that.
Wake
All
up.
right. Well, we did veer off a little
You-
bit, but
That's a
now
whole other thing.
we're gonna rein you guys back in.
Okay.
Okay. So now we understand what Nopi. Most of our viewers know what Nopi is, and now we know where you're going. So, at Nopi's peak, we used to travel around the United States, mostly from the Midwest on back east, to different racetracks doing our show.
13 of them.
15, right. I think the biggest at one time, I think it was 15 because we went all the way to California. And that was like the biggest one. And that's when I really got my eyes open to all these different cultures. I know you're only doing 2 this year.
Mhm.
So after the Super Show in September, what's your plan going forward about expanding and going to?
We already have a Virginia Motorsports Park in April of 26.
Okay.
We're looking at
Yeah,
Lake
go on.
Erie
Yeah.
for May or
Pennsylvania?
July of 26. Yeah, so
Okay.
we're going to be going to
He'll
Maryland.
have me working there, y'all, so y'all can follow me.
We want to get it over ourselves, right?
Gotcha.
And do something wrong. But we are definitely going to grow it because it was a lifestyle. It was a culture that everyone came and just enjoyed each other's company. And
Exactly.
they loved to compete with their cars. And so we need to bring that back. We need to make it affordable. And so that way the kids can see that it's affordable. And now the Honda Civic, unfortunately, Honda Civic hatchback's 10 grand.
Yeah.
For a Honda Civic hatchback.
The name
Yeah,
is
man, it's
out, baby.
crazy.
I know.
It's like a Super is 150. A Super just went for 175. It was the most expensive one. And so, we just got to make it affordable again for these kids and get them excited early on so that they can see the benefits and the rewards that come with it.
Okay.
And so we are going to grow it. We got we're going to be going back to Maryland in 24. So we know we have 4 with the Nationals in 26.
Mhm.
What it is though, what's changed since we were doing this in the 13.
Oh, excuse me.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
I was
And the
applying.
13 things.
People like, baby, did you see
Good thing I
it?
cut my
Oh,
nails.
y'all-
Someone's cut himself.
y'all-
You're good.
You almost have battery here on the show.
So,
Okay.
in 26, we're going to be going to the 4 events, right?
Okay.
And so, what was I saying? I think I've got a brain.
You were talking about
Travel.
Maryland. We went to
Maryland.
Maryland. Maryland was going to be one of the
Travel.
big shows. but
Yeah, the traveling show. Okay, so before we used to go.
Okay, y'all see this, right?
It's not a thing. You know, it's just, you know, I'm
No,
very
no, no,
confident with
no.
myself.
We're not. Anyway, focus. Focus. Okay.
From what I'm hearing, people don't travel and it's too expensive to follow a league of 12 or 13.
Right.
It's mostly regional.
Right.
So that the racers will
Understood.
come regionally to your event.
Mhm.
So if you go to Maryland, you'll pick up that region.
Yes.
The Northeast.
Gotcha.
If you go to Florida, that region. So we can't do a points race like we used to anymore. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think when Nopi started to taper off after the tragic passing of one of the owners, what we did when we were still doing payouts was we had a double point system, so to speak. We had the big one where if all your points added up and then you got points at that particular event, where if you competed, it was like a round robin tournament. So you earned points up. Not saying that's what you should do, but
For those that want to travel and
exactly.
can afford it and
Right.
can participate.
right. But there's
have
always
this
a way to make sure that they're included and they don't feel like they're going to make me driving to try to win
Mhm.
versus I have a chance of winning here.
Yeah,
So
that's a good idea.
that's,
Very simple.
you know,
Yeah, that's
but now that you have gotten Nopi back into the conversation, where do you see it in 5 years?
with Bobby Evans on board, Norris Piontu on board, Chuck Seitzinger, and Lisa Kubo, and we're going after others, veterans from back in the day,
Mhm.
you know. The passion project is across the board. Us guys your age want to see it come back, and so they want to be a part of it. And in 5 years, if we do our thing right, there was a lot of offspring shows from the Nopi's collapse.
Yep.
Okay. I want to see those shows come into the Nopi Nationals and become one again and grow it and have the Nopi Nationals as big as it was
Love it.
back in the day.
Let's do it.
Let's work together and make it. Because at this end of the day, if we don't have this passion of trying to rejuvenate our industry, when we're old, we're not going to be able to work on our cars, and there's going to be nobody working on our cars.
Exactly.
What's going to happen? It's going to get so expensive. It's going to be
It'll die.
unaffordable.
Yeah.
It'll die, and EPA is trying to kill it every day. You know what I mean? We're in a battle with the EPA every day over the motorsports, and we're losing our men. Okay, so the boys aren't men
Yeah.
anymore,
Yeah, yeah.
and so
Yeah.
someone's got to say it. So
Yeah.
we need to make men again,
Yes.
and cars and motorcycles
You
and
can't
getting
get
hurt,
any
jumping
more-
off things.
You can't get any more men than cars and speed, baby. Cars and speed.
Okay.
In collaboration with classic car folks. And collaborating.
Other men.
Normally, I'm the edgy person on here, but Sam's a little more edgy than me.
Yeah.
It's fact. It's fact.
Okay. But
Wake
it
up
is
on
fact.
time.
It is fact.
Get back our men. Let's wake up. Let's get going.
Let's shower. Let's shave. Let's
That
make
has
it.
to do
Like,
with
let's
parenting.
lift the
Deal with guys
weight.
that don't shower?
That's got
I'm
to do
not-
with parenting too, though. I'm just saying.
Yes.
That's
You know, have you
parenting.
guys seen the commercial, TV
100%.
Dad commercial, the TV Dad commercial, the black dude on the couch?
Mhm.
You've seen it?
Mhm.
So real. That is so true. We won't listen to our own parents, but the stranger will totally listen to.
Yeah.
So we need to be those strangers in these kids' lives.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what needs
It's
to
all
happen.
about being that person.
And if
for
they
them.
look up to you, you got
Yes.
something cool, like a cool car behind you like this, and they can
Yeah.
sit and touch, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna
They-
be
you got their
driving
I
that
attention.
told her to bring on field
Yeah.
trips.
Because I've done it with Hebron Christian Academy
I
at,
love
the,
Hebron.
at the shop for Sam's Garage. We've done it twice now.
Yeah.
Where Jim Lacey has brought them over for these kids to learn how things work.
Yeah.
And this year we put an LT1 427 engine together
Mhm.
and then put it together. And then last year we were going over turbochargers and transmissions and how things work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and they were very
Love it.
interested.
And we
if
talk
you
about having
gauge-
a field trip here too to
if you
see
gauge
the
1 out of 10, you're
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
awesome.
So
On that note,
on that note, this is what I'm sorry, what Sam has coming down the pipe for Nopi. I will be in part of that, so I will be we.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
tell me, and tell the viewers a little bit about Sam's Garage. What's
Okay.
going on with that, what that is, and how they can find you and view it.
Absolutely. Sam's Garage is a TV show on Motor Trend. We're on season 14 currently. Been
Wow.
doing that going on 8 years now. And it came from Sam Amolo. He handed the torch off to me in 2016. No, actually 17. He handed the torch off because we did a season 2 together. And then so it's a show about teaching people how to work on cars, simple stuff, doing engine swaps, showing the proper parts, and showing
Love it.
proper techniques on how to do things.
Yeah.
And so we've done a good job of doing that. And the show is not about me. The last 2 or 3 seasons, Julie, my wife, has been on there helping me because she's always helping me in the background. And then I'm like, why not? And people love it because you got the husband and wife thing. There's a lot of wives out there who do the same thing she does, but doesn't get noticed. And now those wives are coming in to the room and watching the TV show with the guys. You know what I mean? So
Love it.
It's pretty cool. And then you got the Local Car Show, which is the best, I think, because I go all over the country and I cover car shows and I talk to people and they tell me their stories. You know what I mean? I've got like almost 800 interviews now from the seasons that I've done this.
800.
Yeah, 800 interviews
Nice.
with people. And so it's really cool to hear their stories because that's what is their love. That's what gets us into these
Yes.
things. You know what I mean? And
Same.
so with these kids that were growing up, our kids too, in the car, we had TVs for them and headrest TVs for them. Well, they weren't paying attention to what was going on in the car or what's going on outside. Were scenery, street signs,
Right.
buildings,
Focus on the
anything
movie.
like that.
Right.
Look at the guy. I used to watch my parents drive and see what they're doing with the pedals
Yeah.
and how all this stuff works.
Right.
They're paying attention to this. They're not even looking around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Because of the electronics boom and the internet boom, everything. So and now parents say, well, if I can keep them focused on one thing, let's do that. And that's why they throw a phone in their face or a
Yes.
tablet or whatnot.
because the
And
parents are
it's
lazy.
turning out to be bad because
Right.
now some of these cartoons are just out of control. But we're not going to go off the beaten path. But since you brought up the fact that your wife works, and we know that she works with her husband, let's bring them on and go into our next segment, which is called the Power Couple segment. So coming to the stage is Kelly's husband and Mr.
Yeah.
Julia.
And Julie, said, wife Julie, come on in. We're going to do a Power Couple segment.
Okay.
And now, okay, guys, so what you're seeing now is the proud owners of American Street Machines, where we are now, and the owners of Sam's Garage,
Mahdavi Motorsports,
Mahdavi
Nopi.
Motorsports, and Nopi. So, Power Couple questions. How did you meet him or vice versa, and what made you guys click?
Sure. And I'll make it as quick. It's a long story, but I'll make it quick. Oh,
Introduce him. I'm sorry.
my husband, Todd Willoughby.
How's it going?
Funny story. Married 28 years, got divorced. COVID. And
COVID wasn't the reason y'all got divorced. Like, come on, let's be real.
my previous marriage
oh.
got divorced. My previous marriage.
Oh.
I've been a car girl my entire life, and so my daughter, after a long story, my daughter said, "Mommy, this is not healthy," which it wasn't, and to go on to Match.com, and so I went on Match.com, and Mr. Willoughby here is my first and last date. So in his profile, I put adventurous, bachelor's degree, course kids, and in his picture had his dog and his 3 kids and him. So
And I was divorced.
obviously he was on Match. So
Ladies
he
and
was
gentlemen,
divorced.
I'm gonna cut her off. Just because she was successful on the very first chance, on the very first date, and it worked, doesn't mean it always works that
Okay,
way.
and he'll go
Let's
into
go
that.
right ahead.
So anyway, he actually, messaged me back, and if you want to meet me, you can meet me at the park. You can call me and meet me at the park. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I said, okay. So I called him and texted him. I was very fresh with this. I've been the same person since 15 years old. So long time, and great guy, but a long time. So long story short, make this short, because he can tell the story real quick. But met him. I was with a friend and said, "Hey, I'm here. Where you at?" He said, "I'm at Will Henry's Lilburn." Will Henry's Lilburn. Okay, that's like kind of my hood. I lived in this area my whole life. So anyway, so go there and meet, and that's the story. I mean, from then on,
Again, she walked up to the wrong guy at first.
I never seen him, right? We never met.
Well, I mean, of course,
So,
I
we talked
wasn't
about-
supposed to meet her that night. She just called me and asked what I was doing. So,
oh, and
I mean, I had hat on backwards. I rode my chopper up to the bar just to hang out with some buddies, have a couple beers. And then she called me, oh yeah, where you at? Yeah, well,
And how long have you been divorced?
I was divorced for like 9 years.
How long have you been on
Yeah.
Match.com or Facebook?
Long enough to meet at the park.
Okay, all right. Keeping it moving. We're going to speed on over here to the next power couple. This is Julie. This is Sam's beautiful wife. Now, same question. How did you guys?
It's a lot more boring than their story.
Oh.
We've been married for 25 years. I was working at a tanning salon and he was going to sign up for a car show next door at the audio place.
30 years ago.
It was 30 years ago.
And where was that at?
It was Audio Pro in Snellville.
I know audio.
Yep, Audio Pro was
Okay.
right at the corner. She was at the tanning salon. I went to go. It was on a Friday. I went to go register inside, and I saw her standing out there on the doorway, and I'm like, wow.
All tan, beautiful.
17. And she was 17. I was 20, and I'm like, wow. I couldn't believe it. So I asked her a question: how many tanning salons did she have? And she said 3. I'm like, cool, I'm out. And then the next day, I went to go actually register and probably see you again. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I came
And
in
the-
like that. I came in to work like the next day and you would call, but my manager was like, oh, Sam from Audio Pro called. And I was like, I don't know who that is. So like there's nobody over there.
I invited you to the car show. It was on Mother's Day, so
I
you
didn't come because it was Mother's Day and I had just met him and I thought I wasn't going to leave my mom for Mother's Day. But then after that we clicked and we,
I had an Audio Pro employee on Monday
Okay.
morning go over and get her phone number and
Okay.
give it to me so I can call her that day, and
no,
I
you
did.
called the store, my manager.
Okay, well I called. Okay, but the whole
I would've given my-
Aren't they clumsy? Y'all see how clumsy
These
these,
young boys
these
out there.
power couples are?
It was the car. It was
Exactly.
the car as the tool. What
The
got
car.
us introduced because the car was going to go into a show at the car shop, and here we met. So that's why you guys got into cars young.
And actually, yeah, one of our first like dates was the Nopi show at Lakewood Fairgrounds in 1995.
Wow.
So
Really?
yeah, so
Yeah.
watching
Way back then.
watching
I've
Nopi
been there
from
since
that
93.
grow to what it became was really incredible.
Well, I was here in 95, 96, and I went to the one in 96 before the Olympics. And I was like, okay, we got to get ready for the Olympics. I was working security then, so I had to try to do this, and it was like, I'm going to miss it. And I did experience it, but like you said, to see it grow and get to where it is a beautiful thing. Okay, so now, American Street Machines, this beautiful facility and all these cars, not what's your role, but how do you compliment your husband and all the things he has to do with all the travel and everything else?
Sure. So running a business like this, I can't answer the questions. He is the classic car expert. I know a lot about cars, muscle car mama, but I haven't been on that side, on the repair side, not on the actual car and the details of a classic car, right? So I am the back scene of marketing, number one. So the front scene of marketing with car shows and advertising for a business, but the back scene of paperwork. He hates paperwork. I'm not doing paperwork. I hate paperwork.
Anyone in sales doesn't like paper.
So he definitely is the expert, the communicator with the clients, and I'm the back scene, getting all the documents together, getting everything together, making sure all the emails are answered, phone calls are done, and people are called back.
Okay, so to you, how effective has she been in the business aspect, not in the husband-wife aspect here?
Very, very effective. I mean, I started American Street Machines in 2003, and I've always been by myself and done my own stuff. I did hire a couple different salespeople, over time or whatever. That, of course, not being able to trust or whatever. And I didn't get involved in shows. I would go to a show. I would talk to all the car owners, and of course, because I'm looking for cars to sell, consignment, and I go whatever. And trying to get in with different collectors and everything, which I'm really good at. But I didn't promote shows. I didn't get involved with the shows, And she came on board, and that's really where she shines. Kelly, she loves to talk. She loves, she loves people.
Don't they all?
Yeah. So she really, she really helps. And I'm not good at paperwork. I'm a car guy.
Yeah.
You know, I find super rare cars for people and put deals together and everything. And I hate paperwork. You know, and a lot of people pay cash, and you don't need paperwork for that thing. You know, so
That's right.
IRS, IRS isn't listening. God. Okay.
So now we're gonna move on. Oh, I'm sorry.
And we are newlyweds, so we are a little different than them. So we are 4th year together.
Fourth year.
But
Yeah,
I've
my first wife, she didn't like car shows. She didn't go to car shows. She didn't do that.
Wasn't a car girl.
No.
I've been
not
doing
at all.
car shows for 10 years
No.
before I met him. So I've been doing car shows for a long time.
So she's helped out a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, great. Power couple number 1. On to power couple number 2. Miss Julie, I understand that you had to hold a spring for your husband that could have tore his finger off while he was working on something.
Yeah, I get the really dirty jobs that nobody wants to do. I've been promoted from, flashlight holder to now I get to hold things up in the air with the screwdriver and all that. But we put in a lot of engines and transmissions together. I think he likes to work with me because he can yell at me where he can't yell at like other people.
Are you saying that he's a
similar.
narcissist? No.
That's the thing is like if he's working with someone else, he's gonna hold his tongue a little bit. But with me, he's not gonna hold his tongue because he's a perfectionist when he works. So he wants everything done a certain way. And he might hold back a little bit if he's working with someone else. But with me, I know that about him. So I knew that going in,
My wife would hit me in the head, but you holler at me. But okay, so do you enjoy the number one, working together hand in hand like you guys do, which is different than what they do because she handles the business aspect of it and he handles more so the physical part of it. Now that you're
We
right
kind of
there
have
with
that. We kind of have that same dynamic. Sam likes to call me his executive, assistant because I do all the jobs that he doesn't want to do, like the paperwork, because that's just not
We're talking
what he
about
wants
having
to do.
things to say.
He's a talker. He likes, he's always on the phone. He's always, working. Like he said, working deals. That's him. I'm the paperwork person in the back. I'm the detail person. So, but I
all
think,
our wives are.
yeah, I mean, that's just the way.
But
it
she
goes.
also helps on the production side with Low Car Show. You help on Sam's Garage set.
Yeah, well, I've always been behind the camera and helped him in that kind of support.
You're taking over Nopi Chic. You're
Yeah, I mean that's really
It's from chick to chic.
so that is the transaction. It's elevating from Nopi Chick to Nopi Chic, and I'm really excited about this because we're partnering with Tamsin from Speedology up in Charlotte. Cindy Sisson, who is the co-founder and executive director of Women of Motorsports of North America.
Right.
Huge, like this is a huge deal. And I'm really excited to be able to put together this platform to help women elevate themselves in this industry.
Good stuff.
I love it.
awesome.
Good stuff.
That's
That's what's
I
up.
love
Yeah.
it.
So now, audience, do you guys have any questions for my power couples? Because I have a couple of more, but I don't want to overlook you guys. Not yet. So with American Street Machines, with the consignment that you do with the cars, can you give me a little insight on how that works? Do you go search for these cars or do people seek you out?
Well, since I started this 2003, I've met collectors all over, and there's a lot of collectors that they don't want to go to auction. They don't want to pay auction fees. They'd rather have someone else deal with selling their car. So when I first started, I was actually the first company that was online that did over 100 pictures per car, and I put everything that everyone wants to see. I know what to look at when I go to look at a car. I want to see date codes. I want to see what's matching numbers, what's not. So I took over 100 pictures per car back then. I was the first company to do it. So we were like, the kings of sight unseen.
Gotcha.
I was shipping cars all over the world. Now it's everywhere. People are doing that. But I've got a reputation together. So I'm in with a lot of collectors, especially around the Atlanta area and in Georgia and Florida and different states and stuff. And they all trust me. No one's ever been burned. I've never been sued. in the car industry. That's rough. So, you know,
IRS are not being sued. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, and I know my cars. So, you know, I have a lot of clients, you know, they want me to go look at a car before they buy it. And these are collectors that have the mass collections.
Gotcha.
You know, mass cars, you know,
Because you're going to
30,
see
40,
something that
50,
they won't
100
look and pay
cars.
attention
Correct.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, you know, if before they even pay for something, they want me to look at it.
Gotcha.
You know, so I mean, these guys, they even take me to auction with them. I go to Barrett Jackson. I go to, you
Yeah,
know,
That's something
Mecum
that's so
and-
like really for anybody. If you want to buy a car, I mean, whether it's a collector car, you need to get someone that's experienced in that. If it's a regular used car, Sam used to have people that would come and he would do inspections. I will never forget, and I won't say who the dealership was, but there was a dealer came over with the car with a customer and this really nice truck. It wasn't even that old.
Mhm.
And Sam went on a test drive and he's like, hand the keys back and said the engine's back.
Oh,
And
Pre-sale
I will
inspection.
never forget that because this guy would have spent so much money on this truck.
Mhm.
And the salesperson was like, oh my gosh. You know, they had no idea.
yeah.
That was part of the
Maybe
whole thing
that
with mentoring and talking to these kids and the parents was we did a pre-sale inspection. You do not buy a used car.
Yes.
Oh, I just bought the car. No, you get a pre-sale inspection before you buy
Yes.
anything.
Oh yeah,
And
always
have
have
the
a car
experts.
inspected
Yeah,
from
have the
someone
experts.
knowledgeable. You know,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
on a lift. It's
Yeah,
a
on a
propane
lift,
look
yeah.
Oh,
underneath.
God, yeah.
underneath
Yes.
the car
You don't
because,
see
Yeah.
from standing above.
right.
We did
Yeah.
that at our
Because
shop.
rust starts from the inside. It does not start from the
And also,
outside.
you know, in you guys' business, so, and again, I'm not going to name names, but we know people that have bought cars from auctions that look phenomenal, but then they get them and they go to drive them and weird things are happening and they end up at Sam's shop and he's like, oh, I hate to tell you this, but you've got this, and this
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
You've just paid all this money.
Yeah.
Because you know, you were at auction. I think they give you like a certain amount of time to look at the car, but if you don't know what you're looking at, you're buying.
And a lot of
That's-
the cars
Or
in
test
auction are
driving.
usually stored cars
yes,
in collection.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Required work.
And they're not checked out before they run.
No, if they've been
And all
sitting
you
for a
see
long
is the
time.
car that runs.
Yeah.
And a
You
lot
know,
of times-
there's many times when I've had clients that they bought a car at auction and they bring it to me, and of course everything's leaking. Needs a front main
It
seal.
finally
needs a
runs,
rear main
and
Finally,
then
seal.
it got driven. Yeah.
You know, the power steering's leaking everywhere. The brakes don't work.
Yes.
So, you know, and you know, bring a trailer. That's a whole
Don't
nother,
name names.
which
call
is
anybody
really
out.
rough. I've had a lot of clients that bought a car on, you know, on that auction site, and they bring it to me, and they told, oh yeah, it's a Z28. Well,
That's facts, though. That is actually facts. That is
And you know,
not-
one of the,
and they
one of
don't
the red
know.
flags-
People just don't know.
You know,
It's not fault of
They're
any
not
of the
being
people. They
paid.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Good enough.
You just don't know.
exactly,
But
exactly.
They just don't know.
Exactly. Well, you know, like you got to look a car over. It's, you know, there, it could be matching numbers. Check your date codes.
Yeah.
You know, the car comes down assembly line. It's got your date code of the build date of the car and the build date of the engine. That all has to run together. You know, someone stamps the numbers on the VIN number on the front of the block. Look at the pad. You
Have an
know, like a
expert.
trained
Don't try
eye,
this
you know
by
how to look
yourself,
for broach
folks.
marks.
Have
Like,
an
I know how to
expert.
look
You
for
can
stuff.
see if it's been
They
changed
put,
out.
you
Yeah.
got a bunch of thick paint over it. You barely see some numbers. You got a problem.
So,
Your date codes are too far
We,
apart.
we had a car.
There's an
We had a car on Sam's garage, one of Doug's cars. I don't remember which one it was, and we thought it was the original color.
Yeah.
Until like we took the hood off and getting into the engine, and then they realized this is not the original color of the car.
Mhm.
But he bought it thinking that was the original.
Have
Yeah.
experts.
Well,
I guess-
that's on your trim tag. There's a code for the paint.
Is it on the trim? Maybe.
I can't remember which cars.
It was
so
an
many
old
cars.
one. It was an
Yeah.
old one. Yeah.
So
But
many
have the
cars.
expert folk. That's the
I guess when I watch Barrett Jackson a lot, of course I've never been to one, but I used to wonder why they would push cars out. If you're starting an auction at $80,000 for a car, why wouldn't they drive it?
The
For fear of
carbon
adding
miles.
miles to it. I
The
get that
smell.
part.
Yeah.
That's the
But
smell.
when you see them push it out, and I'm like, no, crank it up. If I'm gonna pay for it, crank it up. Let me hear it. You know.
Well,
Some
it
of them
used to be
do,
like
some of them don't.
Yeah.
Some of them
Right.
So yeah, some of them do, and you know there's a certain amount of exhaust you have in a
Right.
crowd,
Gotcha.
and you can't
Understood.
get over that
It's a
amount.
fully
Didn't think about
enclosed
that aspect.
Insane
You know,
closed
yeah,
area.
yeah, and you know like Barrett Jackson, for instance. You know, you take your car to Barrett Jackson. Say I brought this '67 big block Corvette to Barrett Jackson, and you run it. That's a one-way trip. There's no reserve.
Oh, really? They don't let you have reserves at
There's no
Barrett
reserve, Barrett Jackson.
Really?
You know, No,
I thought
No,
I could have
that's a
heard them
one-way
say.
ticket. One-way
Wow, I
ticket.
did not know that.
So
Yeah,
Meekum
Barrett
is
Jackson.
Meekum is the one with Barrett.
Meekum,
with-
yeah, you
with
can
the
put a reserve on your car at
Yes.
Meekum,
That's
and the
crazy.
bid goes on.
You know what? What's his name? Richard Rawlins.
Yeah.
You know, have his TV show building these cars up, and when he goes to Barrett Jackson, I didn't get what I thought. Well, why didn't you put a reserve on it? Is what I'm saying when I watch his
Yes.
show. But now I know you
Yes.
can't.
Bear
Yeah.
Jackson numbers.
Barrett Jackson, you can get pardoned. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that's
Oh,
Barrett
yeah.
Jackson's way
I
of
mean, I've
saying,
brought-
you bring it here, we're getting our money.
Once
I've-
again,
I've
find
gone-
out
I've
before you
gone
go to
with,
auction how it
6
works.
cars.
That's another thing.
Six
You get a lot of
big
nuggets,
time
folks. You
collector
get a lot of
cars
nuggets.
to Barrett Jackson from
Yeah.
our local market, and this was years ago. And we went and we brought some really rare Mopars, like Hemi Cudas and like really rare cars. And they dropped the hammer early on the really rare stuff, which was kind of crazy, you know. And I was trying to time, like, how long is this car going to be on stage? How long? And of course, they dropped it early.
Okay.
Yep.
We got off track just a
know.
little bit.
Power couple.
But now,
Working with husbands and wives. What's the
this
whole
is
spiel?
what power couples talk about. But
We
no,
do.
so to you guys now, Sam, you have your garage. Is it an open garage or is it an appointment only garage? Like not the TV show, your actual show. Do you get cars like
I just
drive
got a
ups or whatnot?
6.6 Corvette. You
So
know,
it's a
it's in
certain-
New York.
But it's in private. It's all private and
Okay.
you know, by appointment only.
You can get in touch with me. You can go and Google.
A lot of it's
My
through
phone rings,
scheduling.
I'll
You
pick it
know,
up,
we
you know.
have.
So they don't get
Right.
this. Oh, that's Sam's garage. Let me
Text.
pull in.
Text
first.
No, it's
Text
not that.
first.
So
Okay,
we
so
were
I did
doing
text
that
in 2012.
until
Yeah.
TV
So
just
when I
got
got
to
my
be too
phone, I
much
started
that
getting
we
microchips
couldn't do
with
both.
mom.
Because you can't run a business when you're having to close the business down every other week to film television.
Yeah.
So
Understand.
that just didn't
Like
work.
only. Yeah.
So
But I work on special cars, like I do special projects still,
Yeah.
you know, a handful a year.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we still do that. And like I said, when Victory Motorsports and Nopi Motorsports opens up here soon, it'll be a one-stop shop of anyone who needs this stuff maintenance.
Mhm.
You know, we don't want to do full restorations,
We don't do that.
but I want to do powertrain builds, you know, like we used to do, and do maintenance on a lot of these cars that they have nowhere to go to get maintenance work on. Because a lot of these people you just can't trust, dude. You
Sam
know
was,
what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Sam was
about.
I
really
definitely know what
known
you're
for
talking
his
about.
maintenance and
Yeah.
taking care
Yeah.
of people. He also did 11 years of live radio on Sam's Garage radio show. It was a
Fixing cars
yeah, it
on
was a
Saturday
national,
mornings with Sam Mullo.
and it was
No,
great
no,
because they were
Live
diagnosing
call-in
people's
radio.
cars
It was cool.
over the phone, and it was fantastic.
It was fun. It was fun for everyone. We learned a lot. They learned a lot. You know, we fixed cars and we learned
Yeah.
diagnostics. Things
Okay.
we normally not learn.
All right. Earlier, guys, when we were having all the technical difficulties, I told you guys about the cars in the background. This particular car right here is a 1967. I'm gonna read because I don't know all the stuff, the details. But it's a 67 Chevrolet Corvette with a turbojet 427, 435 cubic inches. No, I'm sorry,
435 horse.
435 horsepower, and it's a 3x2 BBL carburetor. What is that?
It's
3x2.
it's three deuces. Yeah, 3 2-barrel carburetor.
3 2-barrel
So
carburetor.
you open the
Yeah.
hood, there'll be 3.
Gotcha.
It's a called a tripod.
I didn't know they did it on the Jeep.
And it, of course, it's
They
a
did it on the Pontiac, not the Jeep.
Yeah.
see. Look at them. But anyway, I told all this that we would let them. Well, they can see the car in the background. So, tell me a little about the car and what it's selling for, because we're not looking for tire kickers. We're looking for somebody to come buy it.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Well, I'll tell you, it is a all correct matching numbers, very rare. 67, 427, 435 horse, all matching number car with a partial tank sticker, so it's got documentation. You know, this car was owned, and it's not a car that's been through auctions and stuff. It was a privately owned car. It is correct Marlboro maroon, black interior, and it's loaded. For a 435 horse big block, most of these cars were all horsepower and power brakes, and that's it.
Nothing else.
Now this one's got, it's got side pipes, it's leather, it's got headrests, it's got speed minder, it's got a lot of options.
Okay.
So that's a hard car to find.
Okay. For a car of its age, it's fully loaded.
And not only that, this car, you can tell it's been babied because if you look at the interior is original, other than the carpet.
Gotcha.
So the gauges, the dash, the seats, the headrest, everything's original
Okay.
on the car, and that's hard to find with these
Very,
cars.
very hard.
Especially a 435 horse that's all correct, matching numbers.
Mhm.
You know, and yeah, I'm sure it had work done to it. It does have replacement carburetors on it, but I do have all 3 original carburetors that go with the car.
So if they want,
know.
if they want it all, it's here.
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
sitting on a shelf right over there.
Big question. Now, the great question is, what's it going for?
That car's going for 160,000.
106
That's a
with
great
3
price.
zeros behind it.
Yeah. That's a good price for
But that is, I assume it's a good price. I don't know about Corvettes like that, but I know we have some Corvette enthusiasts watching this
We
show.
do.
If y'all want this for your pops or to pass down for generations, it's here. They have
Great
a showroom.
investment.
Well, they have a room in the back with 10 times this,
It
and they
was
have
on
some nice
West- on
cars.
the west.
We
Yeah,
we got
we
a lot
actually
of
showed
cars.
you.
Yeah.
And
They
I
have some bad
specialize-
stuff in the back, but
Yeah.
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 Again, power couples, thank you guys for the information that you've given us.
Got a few more questions.
Okay.
Go T.
What was your first car?
Oh,
My first car was a Toyota Tercel.
A Toyota
In
Tercel.
1991 Toyota Tercel, I
Wow.
sent my mother to Atlanta Toyota to get me a truck because it was all about the lowrider thing right out in California in the 80s. The Mazda V2000 and the hard body Nissan pickup truck.
I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. We were just talking about these kids and their attitude. This man just said out loud, I sent my mother to get me a truck. I'm sorry. You don't tell your mama what to do.
Well,
But go
man,
ahead,
she
I'm sorry.
came home with a Toyota Tercel, the base model.
Was it
not even the
yellow?
halogen lights.
What color?
It was blue.
It was blue.
With the
Oh,
black
and then
bumper.
It was black bumpers and carpet, vinyl interior, one mirror. Okay, I had to buy the other mirror.
Oh
Remember
wow.
back then, you used to buy the paint on the bumper.
Yeah.
You used to
Yeah.
buy the halogen lights. You used to buy the right mirror. But I took it and I gifted it out. Right,
Bent my ride. Oh Lord.
13x7 reverse. I lowered it with Honda Civic fender flares on it, the chrome ones, the rocker panel chrome. rocker
Okay.
panel. I did pinstriping over the tail light so that when you hit the brakes, it said Sam's toy.
Wow.
It's totally
Wait,
cool,
When
man.
you see pictures of
Wow.
it, there's no doubt what year it was at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
You said it
Julian
was an 89?
at
It was a
91.
91.
Yeah,
91.
When I
Toyota
graduated
Tercel.
high
Wow.
school.
Now, all you guys, y'all don't know what a Tercel is because they don't make them anymore. They were they're the Nissan Maximas
They're
and Sentras
dinosaurs.
of the day.
Dinosaurs.
I did actually see
Yeah.
one on the road.
Did you?
within a
Tercel?
country. I took a picture of it and sent it to him. I'm like, there's still
Wow.
one alive.
Oh my God.
Okay.
What was your
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
car, Julie?
I had a 1988 Toyota Celica.
Oh.
Similar. My
The
parents
round
were. I was the only kid in my family that got to. My parents went to go buy a car for at my uncle's car lot. So my mom said, you know, what kind of car do you want? And I really wanted a Honda CRX, and she came
Tennis shoe
home.
car. Roller
with-
skate.
She came home with the Celica, and I was excited, but I was like, oh, you know, I was like, Mom, that's not a CRX. And she goes,
Spoiled. Y'all see this?
We have similar
well,
moms.
I know it started with a C
Yeah.
because my parents did not buy imports. I was the first person in my family to own an import. Everybody in my family owned American
Same.
cars. I had military people in my family who bought American only. So I was the first person allowed to even own an import in
Oh,
my
okay.
family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Oh, I get to go next. So my car was a 1980 Camaro,
All right.
Okay.
black, and then the gold rims. That was my first car.
Dude,
Yeah.
your dad
That is
had-
a
We
cool
all
one.
wanted
Yeah,
That's
but
a
dad-
cool one.
She had a cool dad.
Yeah, that's
You know,
awesome.
I did.
painted, had it painted and
Yeah.
everything, and fixed up for her. Yeah.
I'm a Camaro girl, 100%
Yeah.
through and through, and I do have Ruby 1968 right now,
That
and,
is
in the
awesome.
operation room.
That's
Okay.
And Todd?
So,
So I bought my first car as a 1968 fastback Mustang.
Nice.
Wow.
I
They
bought
have-
it-
they have
I was
them all.
14. I was 14. I was
Wow.
making money, you know, doing construction, doing whatever I had to do. I was making money because my parents wouldn't buy me nothing. So, and it was a 390 with a 4-speed, and it didn't run when I got it.
14.
You know, I went and paid for this car, and I told my dad, I said, "Hey, Dad, you got to help me get this car to the house." I said, "Well, what'd you get?" And I told him. He's like, "Okay." So we went and got it, and of course, I had to work on it in a gravel driveway because our garage was a wood shop.
mhm.
Right.
No cars. So, you know, you're losing all your bolts and your nuts in the gravel, you know. But yeah, I got it running, and by the time I was 15, I got it running, and my mom's like, he's gonna kill himself, and my dad was like, no, I'll teach him how to drive it.
Good stuff.
And he took me out, and man, like we went out in the rain, we went out in the snow, we went and did donuts.
Yeah.
We went, like 60 miles an hour across a parking lot, and he's like, slam on the brakes, crank the wheel. Like, okay,
He was
You
teaching
know?
you that a little bit.
But
That
do
was
you see a
fun.
theme
yeah,
here?
but
So,
but he taught me how to drive a
Right.
car and how to, like if you hydroplane, what do you do? What do
Yeah.
My
like,
mother
and,
taught
and,
me.
and that was cool.
That's
So,
missing
and I had a car with a bunch of power.
Yeah.
And I went through
And
3
no brakes.
transmissions
Well,
because I was
new
born
driver's
on
ed is
the
not what it used to be.
I was
brakes.
14 in my
And
uncle's
no
lap.
brakes.
Well, not 14, but I was at my uncle's lap probably at 8. So 14 years old, my uncle's Camaro to that today, my mom's birthday party. I was driving his car down the street in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
Camaro.
parents used to let us drive in the neighborhood also. But when I was in DeKalb County, and we used to have this amazing facility. It was right down the street from the GBI. You had simulators, you had the outdoor lanes you would go in, and then you would go on the street. And in Gwinnett County, I mean, there's nothing like that. The stuff they teach you, it's all in the classroom, and then you
Right.
schedule time to drive. It's
Yeah.
not. the
There's not
same
even a driver's
thing.
ed
That's up to
anymore, right, in
parents.
school.
It's up to parents
It's-
again,
it's-
folks. Parents.
It's outside of school.
Parents.
There needs to
parents.
be like a defensive driving school.
Yeah, yeah.
You go out on a track
That's
and you
easy
hit
to
water,
access.
and
To
you
access.
know,
That's the key. Like they
Safe for
have them,
kids.
but
Yeah,
it's
one of
hard.
the problems
it'll
with that
save
is-
lives.
But one of the problems with
Put
it
your
now
phone down.
is
Steer.
everybody thinks horsepower.
Yeah.
Horsepower is on all children's minds now. When they get a car, I want the 392, I want the Hellcat or the Demon or what have you. So all they think about is if I get this horsepower, I can drive. Versus let me learn how to drive
Learn
before
how
I
to
go get this
But
horsepower.
another thing that's different about today is you have a lot of hybrids on the road. And so
Yeah.
if you haven't driven a hybrid, then it's very, very torquey. It
Yeah.
takes off.
Mhm.
So you may have a car that's like, not very powerful per se, not some
But
kind
it's quick.
of, it's
Yeah.
quick.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if you don't
Like the
know how to
imports.
react to that,
Imports didn't have a lot of torque, that RPM and horsepower.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it would stay. It would be a little late, but they would stay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and they're reliable and they look better. And so therefore the kids, you guys need to be looking at old imports.
Yeah.
And I got a story. You said you had an 88 Toyota Celica.
Mhm.
So my mom had an 88 Toyota Celica when I was in high school. That was her car. And it was a GT,
Mhm.
front wheel
GT
drive.
has the
everything.
wing on it.
And I just got to tell you the story because so every time my Mustang broke down, I'd be like, Mom, can I borrow your car? Go like Saturday night,
Yeah.
come on, let me go cruise town or something. And I got caught in Kmart parking lot with my mom's car, and I put the rear tires on trays. And I was drifting.
On
And this
trays?
is before drifting.
Oh my
This is before drifting.
That's all.
And
And
I
I
was-
was front wheel drive.
oh,
Okay, it
yeah,
was front wheel drive. I was like, wait a minute.
So, I mean, come on, this is back in 80, 89, I
Wow.
think.
how did
yeah.
you stop that car?
We got two.
Very
No,
careful.
but if
But two
if it's
trays,
front wheel drive,
I'll tell you, that was drifting. That was fun, man. We had a blast.
There you go,
Oh
Sam.
my God, we had a blast. Well, somebody saw it.
Recreate
And my
that
mom
for
worked for the
video.
county.
Got to.
Oh,
My mom
no.
for the county, she ran the elections department, so
you didn't
everyone knew her.
realize.
Oh, no.
Somebody saw her car.
God.
I had to
That's
tell you
just-
that. That was
But there
fun,
is a
though.
commonality
My
here.
sister
What-
and
what-
So
had
American
88.
cars
Son
and
was also-
import
Yeah.
cars.
They drift good
Well,
on
you know,
trays.
Yeah, they bet.
Just saying.
So both of you, that's right, both of you guys had import cars.
But we had
American muscle.
American muscle.
American
muscle.
Right, baby.
The next
American
question,
muscle.
like Cavaliers
What's
and
your dream
Sunbirds,
cars?
they were.
Okay.
dream cars.
What's your dream car? Let's start. with
And do you already have it?
Well,
Or do you already have it? Yeah.
Well, so I do. I've always loved the 300 ZX. That was the car I fell in love when I was 16. When I was 20, I bought one. Sam sold it when I was pregnant with our oldest daughter.
We had
Take
It's a family car.
Okay.
Like 90s, I have to ask, 90s or like 2000, like the 1990s?
It was a 1990.
Yep.
Yeah, 1990.
See? I know.
And then so after our second daughter was 2, he got me a 93 300 ZX, the 2+2. So I had the little back seat, so I
Little
could put
back
the kids
seat.
back there. I still have it. I
Aw.
love it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
He hates working on it. Yeah.
It's a
So
nice
it-
one. What are they working on?
The Z?
There's no
There's no
room in
room.
the.
Everybody, you all know about the
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a drive it, but working on it.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Just open the
it's
hood and
all-
look.
Yeah.
My
it's
mom
all-
used to have the first one. The
Yeah.
first was 86. She bought
Oh
one.
man, the one
Yeah.
that the V6, they put the intake manifold on it,
Mhm.
and you have to take it off to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
it off is hours.
And there's just no
Hours.
room to like get your
Hours.
hands in there.
So you do everything at one time. It's like
So
the best
I
way.
built a lot of them, and
Mhm.
so I bought her one because I know how to work.
Yeah, but ultimate dream car, if money was no option, it would have to be a Lamborghini Countach.
Oh, I'm yours though. I'm
Okay.
yours. I'm the SUV grandma car, but yeah. I knew you were like.
Man, I've had so many cars.
Dream car, sir. Have you had your dream
I
car?
may have had I've had
He's had some.
everything. Like
Oh,
Well,
okay.
we won't talk about the mistakes that he
Um,
sold. That
I
he shouldn't
currently have a
have.
Z28.
Oh, there's
Nice.
plenty of those.
Z28. But the dream car, I want a Mercedes GT,
Yeah.
Oh,
the two-door top of the line AMG GT.
Oh, yeah.
the 63, not the 63.
Yeah,
No, it's
the-
just
Oh,
the
GT.
It's the one that took over the SLR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
And that SLR, the Goldwing SLR, the one they first built, the McLaren one with the big nose and the
Mhm.
supercharged
Mhm.
V8. Wow, what a car. That may be my dream car as I drove it.
Or a 95 NSX.
Okay.
So many.
Yeah, the
There's-
NSX is
there's
very
so
nice.
many.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's the supercar you can drive as a daily.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, I've owned a bunch of my dream cars that I never should have sold.
Yep,
You know,
that's
but-
exactly right, Todd.
You know, I mean, the car I never ever should have sold was a Hugger Orange 69 Z28 Rally Sport. It had everything. It had the cross ram intake, had the off-road cam, that thing was insane.
What came from the factory?
Well, you know, a lot of those were dealer installed, you know.
Got it.
Yeah, like even the cross ram. If you ordered a Z28 with the cross ram, it came in the trunk.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So GM wouldn't install them. It
Got
was,
it.
yeah,
that's funny.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but this thing was insane. It was documented. I was a third owner, had all the paperwork. I mean, everything. And I wish I never sold that car. It was Hugger Orange, white stripe, black and white houndstooth interior, had all kinds of options.
Classic car, folks. He did not own
And
any
what's
cars.
crazy is
Trust
they
me.
made 8 Z28s with the rear. There's a rear wheel defrost sprayers. Okay, they made 8,
And you had one of them.
and I had rear wheel defrost sprayers. They were frost sprayers.
So it's for
And that was
noise
back.
more than anything.
That was back.
Was that
Defaults for the car.
No, that was for ice.
Yeah,
Defrost.
mostly of
Defrost.
noise.
Yeah,
Burnout.
Burnout.
Yeah, man, you fill it with bleach.
Okay.
Race car.
Okay, boys.
But hey,
My turn.
one thing I gotta say, me and this guy. So this is back before people were doing LS stuff, and before they were swapping everything. Remember, I had that
It's a whole nother
68
segment.
fastback RSSS, or no, 68 convertible RSSS Camaro, and I brought it to your shop,
Yeah.
work on, it.
Yep.
And it had an LT4 Corvette motor in it with a 6-speed.
That was
Yes.
before all the
Do you
smart
remember that?
stuff.
This is way back before all you people were doing this. Like, you know, I was
This is
visionary
rich
back
people
then.
conversation. Y'all do hear this, right? The cars they're talking about cost a lot.
I get my turn.
Right?
Okay, guys.
Okay.
This is when you had your shop on 29, man.
Yes, let's.
Stay at the agenda, folks.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Thank you.
last but
Man,
not
just
least,
going way back.
Okay.
Miss Kelly.
So
your dream
very
car?
similar to me. I feel like the same. I'm telling you. So mine is a Yaris because mine Lamborghini. If money's no object, Todd knows, and then we have friends that have them. I'm like, oh my god, I want this car. So Lamborghini for my grandbaby and so on. So I'm an SUV mama. I love my SUVs. So Lamborghini Yaris, brand new, red with black and red pinstriping. One of my daughter's friends actually has it. She drove up to that the other day for the marriage thing. Anyway, and of course my Ruby, my '68 Camaro is my dream car. So she'll be on the road soon. So I have my dream car, classic car. My money no object car is a Lamborghini Yaris, brand new.
Skip
And
insurance.
both the people that we know that have them, the friends,
Mm.
you don't go over 10,000 miles on it. You get up to about 7,900 miles on it, and you sell it.
Why is
I would
that?
keep it.
Because if you get over 10,000 miles on it, it tanks the value.
So
Well,
You
the
lose money.
so
maintenance.
you buy it, you just buy it.
You
Audi
buy it, you
Q8,
drive it, and you sell it.
you buy
I
an
would
Audi
keep it.
Q8, or you buy a
I would
Panamera,
maintenance
a
it.
Porsche Cayenne, same
Yeah.
car.
Or a GT3.
That's not the
that's
same
not-
car.
Y'all could
Of course,
proceed
a
with that
Cayenne.
value of a
Maybe they are
car.
the same car, the same engine.
Yeah, it's a good car.
Audi makes all of them.
Yeah.
Volkswagen, it's actually a
Yeah.
Volkswagen.
I know it's German, but
Yeah.
that yours is just.
My dream car is the Pagani Huayra.
Where?
Huayra. Wow. Huayra, whatever it's called. It's a $5 million car. It's a
Wow.
super. It's a super.
A supercar.
Not even a
It's a
supercar.
supercar.
Hypercar. It's a hypercar.
Hypercar.
Oh, yeah, the hypercar.
Right.
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
It comes with 2,200 horsepower to the ground,
Oh my gosh.
and there's 3 in the United States now, and 2 of them in California. I think one is up northwest somewhere. But I saw the car on YouTube, and I went to researching it, and they build a car around you. So
Wow.
people like Shaq's size, my size, your size,
Yeah.
they fly you to somewhere in Italy where it's built,
Oh my
and they'll
God.
sit you in a
Wow.
thing, and they'll build the car to your specs.
Wow.
Doesn't mean nobody else can drive it, but they want to make sure it fits you. And then the passenger seat is
Like,
still
yeah.
normal. And
Well, you buy a car like that, you're not lying. You want to drive it anyway. So.
Yeah.
I will drive the paint off of it. You know, like you just said, when it gets to 10,000 miles, lose value. If I spend that kind of money, I don't care. You think about if you spend that kind of money on a car, the value doesn't mean anything unless you're a reseller.
You know what I care about when it comes to Pagani? Pagani is on the R. You know, the Zonda
Yes,
R?
that's the top,
Okay.
the big door.
You know what sucks about that car? It's got a Ford Triton 3-valve truck engine. Like you're
You
gonna
have
you're
to
gonna
wonk,
put,
wonk,
I'm
wonk.
sorry, but you're gonna
Okay?
put the
Wonk,
worst
wonk,
engine
wonk.
Ford made
Yeah.
in the most expensive hypercar.
Right.
And I'm
So how do
thinking,
they get all
is
that
it-
performance out of that engine?
because the same thing as the Ford GT that they built, you know,
Yeah.
the supercharged,
There's
you know, they got
parts.
it, but it's got cam phaser problems. Like you got to fix them in the Ford trucks all the time.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that threw spark plugs out the cylinder heads because only 3 or 4 threads.
And they're
So
big,
when they were
long-
building the car on how it's made, how it's made, they were building this on the R, right? I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's a Ford engine they're building. And they look, they're building the engine like, no way, because I've built so many. And I'm like, no way, no way. And I'm looking, it is. It's a Ford truck engine, and this is on the R.
And that's one of the biggest
You know,
ones they make.
I just couldn't. I lost so much respect for it because I mean,
There's
like,
a lot of
put the
cars
Coyote
like
engine,
that,
put
though.
put something else in it that's
Yeah.
overhead cam, something more exotic.
Coyote engine would be way better.
Yeah.
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 Or
Yeah, but
the,
to put that kind of
if you're gonna
horsepower
go
to the
40,
ground, though.
the-
Now the wearer, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. When I saw the 2,100 mile horses to the ground, I'm like, I wonder what it makes at the crank. You know, to put that much to the ground. So
20%,
You're saying-
so that's 24.
yeah, you're saying it's a Ford engine in the bigger horsepower car
the
that they
Zonda
make.
R.
Right, it's one of it's the Zonda, and there's another funny name one.
The Zonda R
That
is
are
like
like
10
the-
years old now. The Zonda's
Well, right, but they have versions of it.
Mhm.
And those two, the Zonda and something else, are like the top of the line ones that actually get it.
Mhm.
And
I don't know how much horsepower this particular Zonda R was. The first one that they built
oh, okay.
10 years ago. I don't know what kind of horsepower that they put. Probably similar
Well,
to
this one is a
GT.
16 cylinder. The one, the
Oh,
is
yeah,
a 16.
16.
Right. So valve 16, 16 cylinder.
So,
It's huge. The engine is mid-engine.
Wow.
So it's
so maybe it's
Awesome.
one of these. They put 2 Ellis engines together.
Yep. That's
yeah,
probably
I don't know.
it.
But that's my car. And my first car was a Datsun B210.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, cool. 5-speed. And my mother taught me how to drive. She's like, "This your car?" I was like, "Nah, you gotta learn
That
how
was
to
the
drive."
hatchback, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was a
Yep,
hatchback.
yep.
Yeah.
And I had all my freeway at 7 people in
My
it.
uncle had a brown one.
You still got it?
No, I wish I still had it.
Yeah.
But Datsun was like what people don't know is Datsun was what Nissan. So,
Nissan was always Nissan. Datsun they put out there in case it failed, they could just drop the Datsun name. But then when Datsun
Datsun
actually
was
made
Nissan.
it,
Yeah.
they dropped the Datsun name and just called everything Nissan.
exactly. Okay.
240s is kind of like, yeah.
And they all started with
240.
240.
Yeah.
74.
I know.
And hey, if you want some rear wheel horsepower, I got a 2002 Saline.
I want it.
That's-
736
Me and her already
horsepower.
arguing on it.
Smart
We
car.
already arguing about
Smart
that car. Just
They saw that.
Smart
All
car.
right.
yeah,
Oh, this thing.
it's nasty.
You'll see it in a
Yeah.
minute.
It's nasty.
That's
nasty.
The
Yes.
tag
But
should
okay.
be in the ditch.
Hey, just checking
Exactly
in.
like
What
it's
about the
above there.
Jaguar? Okay, question, guys. What about the Jaguar XJ220?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That LMP car.
Now,
Mhm.
when you say LMP, I'm not
Oh,
giving
this
it
is
like you.
25 years ago. That's the early 90s.
Now, isn't that a Ford engine in that also?
No, that's
Just
total
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Those,
Yeah,
Okay.
those
yeah.
older,
Ford
older
body.
So that's
Jaguars
real.
That's a
are
real, that was the
Ford.
LMP
Oh.
prototype car that they had racing against the Mercedes prototype car. That's a
Wow,
beautiful car. It's as similar to the Saline S7. If you remember, the Saline
Yes.
S7 was
Yeah.
built at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two cars kind of competed.
And the Gran Turismo 2. That's what they said. What is that? Do you know
The
that?
Jaguar Grand?
Well, I guess I'm assuming that's what they're talking about.
Gran
It's a Gran
No,
Turismo.
he's saying that helped him learn about.
By
so
the
many
way,
cars.
on
he
the
was a
video
kid.
Read
game.
that whole thing.
I said the video
Yes.
game. Gran
Yeah.
Turismo 2.
So
Yeah.
listen, I want to say this. So that is so true. We grew up playing Gran Turismo. Also, Sam and I were just at Atlanta Motorsports Park yesterday for a series called Mav TV was filming it, Racing Prodigy. They took a bunch of young people. They were simulator racers,
Wow.
Mm.
Yes,
They
that's
put them
a
in the
whole other
cars.
world.
and they were racing. You know, now they went from racing in simulators to racing in real race cars,
The
and it's
radicals are 1,100
That's awesome.
pounds.
it was
175
so cool.
horsepower.
And how they do
That's
it.
awesome.
Fantastic.
Oh my
So
God.
It's 4
Okay.
different tracks, 5 weeks. It's
I
going to be a
know
mini series on Mav TV
That's
starting
cool.
I bet those
Sunday,
kids were
March
nice
2nd.
too. They were good.
You said Atlanta
They were
Motorsports
from all over
Park,
the
country.
yeah, AMP and
60%
I
of
love
the
them.
applicants, 60% are overseas.
Yeah, there were
Only 40% are domestic.
300,000 applicants. All
300,000
young people.
applicants for these
Wow.
32 spots.
That's
Wow.
cool. That's really cool.
It's cool that they're applying and
Yeah.
they're interested.
Yeah.
So that's what it's about.
That's
It's
it.
really
Because
good.
Gran Turismo, I've played the game before, and it's such a real experience from the game because the 24 hours of Le Mans on that video game, it actually lasts 24 hours.
Yeah.
You have to pause the game or save it or whatever to come back to it. So with these kids in the actual, you can buy these simulators now.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming these kids you're talking about have these simulators, and that's why they're applying for this experience.
Even if you have a steering wheel and a pedal, something like that,
Right.
just it doesn't have to be a full sim like you see a lot of people have,
Yeah.
expensive. But even if you have something like a steering wheel and a pedal that you're
And it
using,
really does help.
they do it.
And
Okay,
I
good.
remember
Wow.
from playing those games, being, you know, you're on the racetrack, and sometimes I was like, where's it going to go? And I've had the opportunity to ride with Sam on Road Atlanta, and it's like that in real life.
Yeah.
And there were times I was like, how did you know where we were going? Because I couldn't see where the track was. And he's like,
Mm.
I've just memorized the track.
You memorize the
You have to.
terms, you
Yeah.
memorize
Yeah.
the G's,
Driving
you memorize
like that.
everything.
Because otherwise, I mean, you're gonna go hit the wall.
You think about when you see the Gran Turismos and stuff on TV, the guys that are driving those wide wheel cars at 200 miles an hour, and they know the breakdown and all of that. It's constant practice on the track and
Yeah.
memorizing it because I don't think they have a.
It's weird
A
when you're
map or
looking at
something
it.
in
It's all
the
kind of
No,
a flat
not at all.
plane, and
Right.
there's no curve. You know, so when you're
Oh,
driving
AMP
normally,
is
you're
like
used to a
this.
curve. There is no
Yeah.
curve, so it just kind of and then it'll go over hill and then turn, and you can't.
they
see
have
that.
G's, like the G's and all that
Yeah.
doesn't affect your braking and everything on these tracks.
Yeah.
That's why novice groups are important. But I mean, people don't understand that, of course, that simulation is there, but when you're in person, these G's and when you're turning and when you're braking have 100% to do if you're staying on the track or not. I mean,
But I do
That's-
think the
that's
video
good.
games
And
do
good
help
time.
kids
oh, yeah,
understand the
it's part,
inertia
yeah.
and understand how to take turns, because number one, you learn like if you overcorrect, right, and how
What'll
to
happen.
yeah. So
It's going.
it is
yeah,
good
it's
to
going,
like
yeah, some of those
see
things,
that in
yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
environment.
and it definitely helps.
Talking about this, what we're talking about now, Sam, I have a question. And this is about Nopi for all you guys that attended back in the day, Nopi. Mark, God bless him before he passed, we used to have, with the drift events, we would have an hour set aside where people could actually ride in the drift car. I actually did it to show people that, okay, it can be done, and it scared me to death.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times when you're so used to driving and being in control and you see him coming at this wall, and you're like, we're going to hit it, and you're,
Oh, yeah.
is that something you plan to offer?
Absolutely.
In the
There'll be
future,
exhibition
yeah.
runs.
Right.
Exhibition runs will be drifting, autocross, there'll be JDM land. It's going to be all anime, JDM,
Nice.
Korean pop, right-hand drive cars.
Including the video games
Jeeps
and all of
and
that stuff.
Broncos and classics and bikes.
Okay.
The
See,
hydraulic
we're bringing it
competition
back.
is they're bringing the Joker back from the old days because Red's Hydraulics, I'm working with Hopaholics,
Mhm.
which Carlos is part of the old school Red. They got the
Exactly.
Joker,
Wow.
they're bringing it back,
That's
and we're going to
cool.
have Burnout Wars come in with their outfit,
Now, that's
do the
good.
burnouts part. We're gonna have a mobile dyno.
But one of the
That's
things that's
what's
going to
up.
be very different is just the last 5 years of doing the low car show.
Mm-hmm.
We mostly do like American car shows, right? Classic cars, hot rods, things like that. So we've learned a lot about you guys' world that we didn't know about. And we want all those guys to come too.
Nice.
Because if you like cars, you like cars. It should not be like, oh, I only like this kind of car. You should be able to appreciate all kinds of cars.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay,
Sure.
so, ladies and gentlemen, American Street Machines and the new proud owners of Nopi, we are going to have them on throughout the year, and especially YouTube before the September event, because we definitely want to keep it fresh in their minds.
In Maryland. Maryland's in August.
August.
Also, we are doing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are doing the Maryland.
Oh,
You said, I see what I'm saying. We.
You guys know.
You said,
Hey,
we
no,
always
Bobby Evans
said
is on
that you
board.
said
Bobby
you're gonna
Evans
do
is gonna be
Maryland.
working Maryland. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
You
know
said
because
you
ain't nobody
were.
called me. You know, nobody called
He
me.
knows now,
You
guys.
saw it live
But-
here that
but-
he said.
Okay,
you
so
would
the
do it.
Maryland event is in August, and then
A month after.
the month later we're going to be doing the super show. I'm assuming you're going to call it.
Yep.
At Atlanta Motor Speedway, and hopefully everything will be running like water, and you guys will be there. So
Love it.
Skullkeeper said he can't wait to bring his feathers to Nopi.
we have a fan. We call him a super fan. He has a skull. I can't think of the type of. It's a Honda,
Mhm.
and I don't want to say what type because I can't remember. But he has feathers
Okay.
all over the inside of his car.
Okay.
It's different, and
That
he
is
drives
awesome.
it.
That's
And he
pretty
said when he
amazing.
gets up to speed, the wind will blow the feathers in his face.
Oh,
He got to
my
slow
God.
down.
so
But-
funny.
At a car show, it's a showstopper because people don't see it. They're like, "You drive it?" He's like, "Yes." Headliner, A-pillars,
We can't
everything
wait to
has.
see it.
2003
Yeah,
Honda
yeah,
Accord.
yeah.
We called him the Skull Keeper because he had the Skull Keeper theme with a graveyard-like display, and nobody
Mhm.
passed his car without stopping and taking pictures or
I think it's
wanting to sit
easy.
in it and see it.
It's
So he-
unique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a super fan of mine. He's a very good friend of mine because I was the first person to judge his car at one of the local shows,
That's
and I gave him an
awesome.
award, and people were pissed. How'd that feather car beat my car?
It's got feathers.
I explained this a lot at car shows. It's not about just about the car. A car show is about the public.
Yes.
If everybody stopped at this car, regardless of what it
That
looks
means
like,
trophy.
that car is trophy worthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys have to understand the entertainment and the draw aspect
Yes.
of the car is what wins car shows.
Yes.
We're not white glove where
used
It's
to
not,
be-
it's not about the
Everything has
list.
to be-
It's not about
Exactly.
the dollar amount.
and that's where everybody
Well,
goes.
there
Well, I
are-
spent
It
$10,000 on that
About
paint.
what's
Well, that don't
I've
make
seen
sense.
rat rods win.
You know, so
Dude.
there you go.
We were at a rat rod show. These guys get so creative.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
sit there and you look at it. You look at
Probably one of my
behind these
favorite
stuff.
shows we
Yeah.
ever
Finding
did.
Finding
these
new
Nice
stuff. They
people.
welded this
Yeah.
on. They welded that on. They
It's
did this. They
crazy.
did that. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
So
very
creative.
genius.
2003 Honda Accord LX.
Yes.
So your
Yes.
buddy with the feathers
Yes.
in his car. Do you call him Birdman?
No, it's
Skullkeeper.
a
Is that
Skullkeeper.
a nickname?
Skullkeeper.
Yes. Look,
We
I'm
want to
not-
see. We want to see you,
Skullkeeper.
Skullkeeper. We want to
Skullkeeper.
see
yeah,
you.
that's what he calls
Wow.
himself.
Okay.
And
So-
his car reflects it, and he is such a nice, down to earth person.
But it's the
Nice.
presentation.
Right.
So his
Yeah.
entire
Oh, yeah.
presentation
On that
is
note-
amazing.
He will be there in September. He
Nice.
said it.
That's cool.
So on that note, Skullkeeper and you folks, next Saturday, Leprechaun Festival here in Lilburn. We're doing the festival and car show for cancer. So most of the events that I'm part of are all for charity events. We would love to see. Come on out, Skullkeeper. The kids would love it. It's gonna be a family event. March 8th, and then we have April 12th. Will be the boogie. So get down and boogie for Beyond the Ribbon.
Get down and boogie.
Music festival and car show for cancer. And the 19th, Trickham Middle School here in Lilburn. I'm doing for Relay for Life, our 4th annual event. I'm the MC of all those. And I'd love to see y'all out. Come on out.
And we'll have some cool cars there.
We'll have some cool cars.
Cool cars.
We
We want
showed
some-
y'all
we
the
want some
back
other
last
cars
time we
there,
were here.
too.
We showed y'all the back with all of that bad stuff back there.
Yes. we all-
And my car's back there too. That Mustang.
It's my car. It's
We're
my
putting
car.
on hold for you, man. Put down the down.
Is there anything else coming up for you guys?
We're the low car show season starts this next week.
Yeah, we have
Yep.
3 shows
So,
we're filming
in March.
out of town in March.
Yep, and we have one weekend off in March. I'm going to Charlotte to do a booth for Nopi at a show.
We're going to
Charlotte.
no, we're going to Charleston.
Charlotte.
We need to tell our uncle to go to that
I'm
show.
actually excited because we've never been to Charleston
Now,
before.
watch this. Tia has an uncle,
My cousin.
my new daddy.
My
He has a
cousin.
garage in the back of his house about the size of this, maybe a little smaller. He has 9 cars in there, and every single one of them can compare to this.
Oh,
Wow.
where's
All
this
of
at?
them.
Charleston.
He's in Charleston. He's in
Charleston.
Charleston.
We need to tell
So
him.
we're
to go.
gonna get him to come out. When I tell you he can crank them up and drive them, and when he pulls on the line, you be like, "Wow!" It catches you. He has
Wow.
Nice.
2 Mustangs, 3 Corvettes.
Fox Body Mustang.
Oh
He
yeah.
has-
When I say,
He's going
At
ding, ding,
level
ding,
of this
ding,
one
ding,
now.
ding, ding.
now I'm not gonna say all numbers match and all of that stuff, but
Dude,
exactly.
He has
how
a
this
Grand
car looks, you can
National.
see his car beside it, and it's ready.
Nice.
Yeah,
A
he-
Grand
How
National.
do
He has a Grand National.
Grand National. He has
So he has a Grand National, all original, 2 Fox Body Mustangs, a 70 Stingray, 70
I don't know. There's like
Stingray.
5 Corvettes.
And then he has the new 2000. It was a 23 at the time, 22 at the time. The Z06 Corvette, the C8, the first one of the first
Right.
C8s.
Yeah.
Then he had a SS Camaro,
Ooh, you
Track
bring Uncle
Hawk.
on the show.
the Trackhawk.
Wow.
Yeah.
I asked him
Ridiculous.
immediately, "You want to adopt me?" He was like, "Yeah."
I'd love to see his collection.
It's
Yeah,
nuts.
That's
Yeah.
what I love.
It's
I love
awesome.
looking at cars.
We'll be
And being
in
a
the
collector.
Emerald Coast in Panama City.
Okay.
Next
Yeah.
weekend.
Okay.
First
Cruising
weekend
the
of
coast.
March. Then we're going
Yeah.
to Corvette Expo in Pontiac, Pigeon Forge.
Yep.
And then we're doing
Well, we have
the
the ponies and
Ponies and the
Smokies.
Smokies also in Pigeon
Pontiacs is
Forge
in June,
is in June. And then
Mhm.
and then we'll be in New Hampshire.
Cheyenne in Maryland. I'm not going to be there.
Well, we'll be there
I
Sunday.
won't be in Maryland, which is crazy.
How long been doing show?
I know. I got to go to Cheyenne and film cars, cigars, and
I
guitars.
understand.
So I think I'm going to fly in on Sunday morning.
Sunday.
But Bobby's going to be there. You'll be there. There'll be
Y'all heard it. I was waiting on that. I was waiting on that my whole audience. Okay, so I will be there. Okay. But anyway, back on subject. So is that you have a full schedule, and I see that you guys have a full schedule. We're gonna go over all of the upcoming events, including you, myself, and you, us. Thank you guys. We appreciate you
Perfect.
for all
Thank
of
you
the
for
input
having
you
us.
got us. Sam, love you guys. Julie, nice to meet you. Keep your hands on him because he ain't right.
I want to be a part of the hot chic.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
got a 77
Yeah.
Camaro.
And
Nice.
you know that's a good thing. We will bring Julie and
Same.
Sam back on more than one occasion
Yeah.
before the Maryland show and the Super Show.
Absolutely.
And we want you to elaborate more on the hot chic. Chic from Nopi Chic.
Nopi
the
chic.
Nopi
Yeah.
Chic.
Nopi chic.
Yeah,
We want you to elaborate on that and explain what it is and
absolutely.
get it out there because we have a lot of women on our
We
podcast
do.
that follow us with cars.
Yeah.
They're not gearheads, but they are into cars. So
Yes.
that's what you're.
They do
Maybe.
have.
Yeah,
Good.
anybody, if you're an enthusiast, if it's something you want
Right.
as a career, if you're a racer, a tech, an engineer, it doesn't matter. But if cars is part of your life, then
Yeah.
that's what we want to
We have a lot.
incorporate.
We have a lot. They will definitely reach out and you will be able to see them in the chat.
Mhm.
We will have all of our technical difficulties fixed by then, so you will be able to see the comments as they come in and the questions and whatnot.
They're
So,
here once a month.
again.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will try to come up at least once a month. Well, once a month here because it's such a big drive for
Yeah.
us. But we will be here to make sure.
Goals.
Well, we thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing our shop, and we thank you guys for being part of it. That's
Thanks for
awesome.
having us.
That's
That's
awesome.
great.
And the
Yeah.
second, the best thing about being a power couple with him is the time I get to spend with my husband, traveling, going out. We do have cruising with hubby on our YouTube and stuff like that.
The time I get to spend with my husband.
Yeah.
That's just so.
Me and Todd.
So you want to kill each other?
So we are,
Exactly.
we're still newlyweds, though.
I
We're
don't
still
take her on
newlyweds.
every car chase.
We don't. But
I'll tell you though, I don't have to buy a car and park it at my buddy's house. Okay.
That's
A lot of guys do.
we do a lot of. So we have 2 people, 2 cars. Yeah, we're able to use each other a lot. There's a lot of stories.
That
We
was
are,
just an
we
engine.
are still newlyweds, so that's part of it too. But it's the good times and the bad times. But great times.
Yeah.
Let's go shake the girl's hands.
Yeah. Right. Okay. But again, guys, and I hate to say girl, but you guys, thank you for coming in and being the they'll,
Keep on
expound
going.
and
Yes.
expand rather. And we will be working together in the future.
Thank
So
you.
will we.
Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna get the rest of the show done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir.
Thank
Always.
you.
Don't sell my car.
Are y'all going in the back? Probably.
All right. So
Probably going in the
Stay away from this car.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, wanna come
All
back
right.
and take a look at the
you're
view?
gonna put the
Yeah.
flyers up.
back.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. This is Kelly from Street Machines, and I am Skip. We are now going to go over some upcoming events, and Kelly's going to input some of the events that she has coming up along the way. And can you make it big so I can read it? And again, we will be here at American Street Machines once a month going forward. And if you guys want us to advertise any event that you have going, remember, you have to reach out to us. You have to send it to our inbox. Send it to me. Send it to Mr. Queen Kong, Nighthawk, Miss TJ, whoever. But we will not be going to search for your event to advertise it for you unless you want to pay us. You know what I mean? So the first event we have coming up is the International Young Chefs Auto Show. It's a car community and cuisine event and the 225 IYC Auto Show. Enjoy custom rides, live cooking, demos, and support of our local youth. The event details, before I get into event details, the International Young Chefs, I'm quite sure you guys have seen them before. These are children that are being taught from as young as 4 on up into the teens and seniors in high school by the lovely Miss Kim Possible. I know you guys know who she is. And this is the annual car show that she does every year. So we want all of the participation for these children because she takes these kids all over the world to learn about different cuisines and cooking methods and whatnot. And I think they're going to Africa, Ghana
That's
here in the next
fantastic.
month or so
in June.
in June. So we want you guys support. That show will be April the 12th, 2025 from 1 to 6. The gates open at 12. It will be at
Boundary Waters.
Boundary Waters Activity Center in Douglasville. The address is 4996 Highway 92 in Douglasville.
Wow.
It's plenty of room. We will definitely keep commenting on this show because we want all the attendance that we can get for this show because it's for a great cause, the children.
Getting the kids to Ghana.
And also the proceeds are going to help to get the kids to Ghana.
Love it.
Now, you guys see Kim in the chat, and if you want to donate, we will definitely have that information up in the future shows. But this is all the proceeds from the show will be helping to get them to Ghana. The everything is scheduled, but they just have some more stuff. So we need everybody's attention and patronage
Love it.
for these
Come
children.
on out, folks.
International Young Chefs.
And promote it. Yeah. Look it up.
Yes.
And promote it. Yeah.
And the next show is the Mayday Dukes. I think I have that flyer somewhere. The Mayday Dukes and Boots. Okay, there we go. The Mayday Dukes and Boots Trail Ride. It's a stepping competition. Oh, perform.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Of course, y'all see what's the new song? We're the fans that kind of stepping. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But it's gonna be at 8 Anna Pool Road in Sparta, Georgia. That date is it's in May 16th and the 17th. It's a trail ride also. It's $10 Friday, $30 Saturday, and $40 for the weekend, and it's $30 for campers. So I'm quite sure it's going to be out in the wilderness somewhere,
Wow.
shape or form.
Campers, 4-wheelers, side-by-sides, horses are welcome.
Wow,
Right.
that sounds
So there you go.
fun.
Campers, side by sides, 4-wheelers, and horses are
I'm
welcome.
impressed. Now, is that
Um,
Beyonce stepping you're talking about?
I don't know
Right?
what's happening, but live performance will be there. Westlove, Tonio Armani, Stacey Adams, Queen Thickamus,
That's Beyonce stepping.
Queen Thickamus, Mr.
Okay.
Mister,
Okay.
Nephew Jones, and others. Again, the advanced ticket prices are $10 for Friday, $30 for Saturday,
That sounds
$40
fun.
for the weekend, and $30 for campers. DJ Mixmaster T will be the DJ.
Okay.
And there's a $1,500 cash prize for something or another. So again, everybody's been asking me about it. I got 2 calls today about it, and I sent the flyer out. And we're talking about it again. This is the Mayday Dukes and Boots Trail Ride.
That's so
It will
fun.
be in Sparta, Georgia, at 8 Anna Pool Road in Sparta, Georgia.
Okay.
On
If y'all know
April-
where Sparta is, that's definitely
That's
rural.
up 20. It's a ride.
That's
Yo.
rural. Yep, by the
But
lake.
May
Yep.
16th and 17th, is when it will happen, and we will definitely be covering this one again.
Wow, that sounds fun.
And the next one, the 5-star
Oh yeah,
Corvette.
my girl. Yeah.
The 5-star Corvette All-Star Car Show and Light Show. If you guys missed it last year, shame on you. It's at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 5-star Corvettes. This will be their second or third year, I believe. But it is a great show. Last year it was a Corvette show, then a car. No, it was a car show. All other cars, and then there was a Corvette show. But I think they're incorporating everything together this year, at least from what I'm reading. But the car show, the all car show, and the light show will be. Is it one day or 2 days? Yeah,
right.
June 6th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the second annual
Nighttime party.
from 6 to 11. That way they will have time to incorporate the light show into the
Yes.
car show itself. And that is before for 5-star Corvettes. And there will be cash prizes.
I'm going to that one.
Yeah, Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's in Hampton, of course, you know. And it's also sponsored by Whataburger.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Great
and the
peeps,
next
too. Cool
one,
cars.
Theme Cars Are Us.
Oh, theme
Last
cars.
year we had a great turnout in Panama City. It was a weekend of fun. It was a Saturday show, but we had a ball. We actually took a tour bus down. Not a tour bus, a party bus.
Oh, another party.
We took
Yes,
a party
we
bus
did.
down.
Yes.
And that was for people
That's
that
my
wanted to
kinda
drink,
stuff.
have fun, and not worry about driving or you know, not something happening to your car, you know, what have you. But we want to fill the bus up this time. We actually had 8 passengers. 8.
Yeah, we could have fit about 6.
We could have fit about. It'll hold 16 comfortably, but we had 8. So again, we will have all those details for the party bus up. But it's Theme Cars Are Us in Panama City. Theme custom car and bike show, car, truck, and bike show. And it will be at,
But you don't have to have a theme.
right. It doesn't have to be an actual theme. It could be a car with a wrap, whatever. It's Theme Cars is the name of it to reach out and grab you because it gives people like Skull Keeper, Batman, Miss Pennywise to compete against
shout out Batman,
like-minded
Pennywise, too.
cars. So it was a great turnout last year. I believe they're going to have some unveilings at this show. Fleet DJs, DJ Chill will be there. Atlanta Carcast will be there. It's going to be at Pensacola Interstate Fairgrounds at 6655 Mobile Highway in Pensacola, Florida. Tickets are on Eventbrite already. And it's not a completely inside show. The inside portion is what we will fill up first, and then there is outside, right outside the door. And it's a big gate, so you won't be separated outside of you having to come inside where all the festivities will be. There will also be a domino tournament. And the domino tournament entry is paid along with your entry into the show. So we will have all the dominoes on site. It's something to do to pass the time
That sounds
outside of the
fun.
mingling and everything else.
Yeah.
And then there will be more stuff to do and to have at this show. But Theme Cars Are Us, June the 7th in Pensacola, Florida. And I believe that is 2 more. Boom. Mr. Bled 392. We are talking about Keys to the City.
Okay.
All right. And the Keys to the City, part 5. It will be June the 22nd. And it looks like he called it the Bled Land. But y'all know about the little, what's it called?
The city of Morrow City.
Yeah, the little small city right by South Lake Mall, Route 75. You can see it from the highway. He calls it Bled Lands, but it's called a district.
The district.
It's
that's
called a
right.
district, and it looks like many houses,
Yeah.
like a little small town,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I just-
And he's made it common now to have car shows there because it is a very nice venue. The bridge going across and all that. So, this is Keys to the City 5, June the 22nd, at the district, and there is no time. So all of that stuff will come here in the very near future. But Keys to the City, June the 22nd. Be on the lookout. The next one is Beachfront Motor Fest, July the 12th. It's a 2-day event from 12 to 7. It's an all makes and model car show, and this one will be in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, this one is Street Kings. Street Kings,
I love
and this
Street
is
Kings.
Bling with the yellow Corvette. I'm quite sure y'all seen it. If y'all
Yeah.
have been to Bled's show, he's doing a Beachfront Motor Fest, June the 12th, and I'm assuming the 13th because it's a 2-day event. It's from 12 to 7, and it will be it's not on this flyer. We will get it, but it is in Ohio. and it doesn't say entry fees or whatnot, but it's going to be music by DJ Alex, the largest club, 10 best of shows, etc., etc., etc. Last year, I think he gave away over 80 trophies, and they were all 3 to
Nice.
4 foot tall
Wow.
size trophies. So he's a very good guy. He comes down here and helps support us in our car show season. So we're going to do our best to support him also.
Nice.
So again, that is I lost the date.
Kelly, you mentioned those other ones again.
And you want to go over your
I'll go real quick. The
Mhm.
first, so I have first quarter. We'll be on again later, but first quarter, March 8th, downtown Lilburn Leprechaun Fest. So bring the kids, wear your green. Beyond the Ribbon, we'll be having a car show at the same time, 10 to 2. Downtown Lilburn will have all kinds of stuff for the kids, parents. The Agravera bus is there, so you have margaritas on the deck. We have all kinds of stuff for parents, and also playground, all good stuff for kids. That's a great one. So 10 to 2, downtown Lilburn. April 12th will be downtown Lawrenceville for the Boogie Fest, a music festival, 3 different stages, all kinds of stuff going on, and the car show downtown Lawrenceville. That's 3 to I believe 6. And then back to Lilburn for Tricka Middle School's Relay for Life car show. So the kids will be doing stuff, singing, going around. They participate a lot in this for the fundraiser for the Relay for Life. It's our 4th year doing the car show right off Clean Hill. It's a great car show scene. Good pictures, and we have a big parking lot for it. So we're very happy to be part of that also. Oh, I know one more. May 31st, it's not the first quarter, it's at the first quarter, but May 31st, fundraiser for the Southeastern Train Museum in Duluth. We'll be doing a car show for that to raise funds for a playground and to paint the trains. That is an amazing place for families and kids. They give a little, there's a small train and a big train and ride around the whole park. If you haven't been there, it's a great place to bring your kids. Also bring the cars out, and the trains will be running at certain times, so you can get there early. But I believe that one's 10 to 2 also. But we have to get the cars come in early so we can close the lot and do the trains. So look up for that if you want to participate with that. Southeastern Train Museum in Duluth.
all right.
Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a ball with you guys tonight. Thank you as always for tuning in.
Thank you.
Shout out to all of my co-hosts that had other emergencies to attend to tonight. Miss TJ's in the background as always. It's been great. I messed up, y'all. I plugged some stuff in wrong, and that's why we got
Actually,
the
I
feedback.
did
So
it wrong. It's okay.
anyway, she just gonna try
Teamwork
to take
is
the blame
dreamwork,
from
y'all.
us.
It's all good. We made it
But
happen.
anyway, we made a mistake. We got it right. Y'all love us anyway because we love y'all. Kelly, thank you for being
Thank
my
you. I
special
hope I
co-host
did well.
Well,
tried.
they didn't blast you on here because they
Thank
would have
you.
got you. Like, what is she
They
talking
love
about?
me.
No,
I see
No.
some of my peeps on there, so it's all good.
no, but thank you guys again, Lady Icon, Miss Kim Possible, Skull Keeper, all you guys that tuned in tonight. We appreciate you as well. So again, peace out
Peace
from
out.
Atlanta Carcast. Thank
Thank you, folks.
you. Doom, doom, doom. I don't hear the music.